And I do happen to love cheesecake. So a sip of coffee and I'm going to get to work. Alrighty, no-bake cheesecake. First what we're going to do is start with the crust. So we're going to make a graham cracker crust, which is, I think, one of my favorite things about cheesecake. And so certainly you can do graham crackers, put them in your food processor, or put them in a Ziploc bag and just, crush them up. But we're going to, make it easy, because that's what I'm all about. That's my thing. And we're going to just use 3 cups, which happens to be 1 box of the already crushed graham crackers. Love those. Mr. Graham or Mr. Nabisco, whoever came up with that, that was a smart one. So in goes my 3 cups of pre-crushed graham crackers. Although sometimes I have to tell you, when we make a lot of s'mores in the summer at our cottage, that's, we've got like a fire pit in the back, and sometimes, you open those boxes of graham crackers and some of the crackers just aren't whole. So save those in a Ziploc bag, and, once you get enough of them, you can make a graham cracker crust with them. Don't throw them out. I'm just melting some butter. I've got a stick and a half of butter. And the other thing I failed to mention about this recipe is it makes a big batch. So this is a no-bake cheesecake for a crowd, which is great. If you have to go to a potluck or a dinner party, you need to bring dessert. This makes, a nice big size one. And I have to be honest, Bob loves cheesecake, and I never make it for him because I'm scared to make the kind that you bake in the oven. So he's going to love this. Okay, so I've melted my butter, stick and a half of butter. And then I'm going to sweeten this up with a half cup of sugar. So just 3 ingredients in that crust. Now it's a no-bake cheesecake, but we are going to bake the crust just for a few minutes, and you wouldn't have to. But it's just going to set that crust up, and you'll be able to slice this cheesecake up a little bit nicer. All right. Oh, the smell of graham cracker crumbs. I just want to eat it by the spoonful, and the butter in there. Yum. So I'm going to press this into a 9 by 13 pan. I even tried Limburger cheese recently, and while it wasn't my favorite, remember, Deb, when we did that? We tried Limburger?
We did.
It was tolerable.
With a spicy mustard.
With the spicy mustard, that's right, on rye bread with an onion. There's a place, and we got to go there sometime. Some little town in Wisconsin, and people line up every day for their Limburger sandwiches, and it's just a hunk of Limburger, big piece of onion, rye bread, and mustard. And they don't even melt it. They just got to get there sometime. People rave about it, though. And I think they definitely serve that not with wine, with the beer. Right? Is that what they said? Okay, so press that crust in there, and you notice this makes a really nice, thick graham cracker crust, which I'm all about the crust for anything, from pies to cheesecakes to whatever. It's all about the crust for me. So no skimping on the crust. So this goes into a preheated 350-degree oven for only about 10 minutes. You just want it all to, get together and set up. You don't want it to get brown or anything like that. You could, like I say, if you're really in a pinch, you don't have to bake it, but when you do, it just gets a little more firm, and as I said, it's going to make cutting it that much easier. So there's our crust. It's cooled, and we're going to pile it on with the cheesecake mixture. So our cheesecake itself starts with 3 blocks of cream cheese, and I've let those soften just a little bit. So pull them out of the fridge, let them sit on the counter. Just a little easier to work with that way. All right. In it goes. Our 3rd block of cream cheese. A little bit of vanilla. I do about a teaspoon or 2 of vanilla. I'm not measuring, I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. It's one more thing to wash, those measuring spoons. And I'm going to do 3 tablespoons of lemon. I'm going to use fresh lemon juice. Now, we've got all this rich, it's a cheesecake, super rich. So we're going to cut that a little bit. And I think that this is a really important ingredient when you're making cheesecakes, or especially this one, but just plain cheesecakes in general, to add a little bit of lemon juice. Just that little bit of acid really makes a difference. And I just was feeling this lemon, and I noticed it's rock hard. And you notice how that some lemons are nice and soft, and they're going to give their juice really easily, and I can tell this one isn't. So this is just always a good tip, is throw a lemon or a lime in the microwave for like 15 seconds, and it will release the juice a lot easier. So give that a try. Sometimes you can just tell. It's like, ugh, it's not going to be real easy to juice. Yep, already just softened up a little bit. You know, a lot of times you're taking it right out of the refrigerator, so. Okay. And I'm just going to eyeball it. Let's say 1, 2, yeah, it's 3 tablespoons right there about. Smells so good. All right. And now we've got 1 can. This is a 14-ounce can of sweetened condensed milk. Now, don't get this confused with the evaporated milk, which is easy to do. This is the sweetened stuff. This is the stuff you make, this is the good stuff, fudge with and all that stuff. So this is the real thick, wonderful kind. In that goes. And then just one more ingredient. And that's a container of Cool Whip, an 8-ounce container of just frozen whipped topping that we let thaw a little bit. So that's that. Now I'm going to use a mixer because I've been told this by a lot of the pastry chefs that I've had the pleasure to work with over the years. I'm always looking to learn from them. And they say the key to a really good cheesecake is, especially one that you're going to bake, but even with the no-bake ones, is you really have to take a few minutes and mix this all together until it's nice and smooth. The cream cheese. That cream cheese has lumps and bumps, those lumpies and bumpies. And if you go and it's a baked kind of cheesecake and it's lumpy and bumpy to start with, you're never going to get those lumps and bumps out of there. So take a few minutes, really work on getting rid of those lumps. Nobody likes a lumpy cheesecake, right? Got a KitchenAid, you know, one of those stand mixers. You can walk away and let it do its thing. Okay, now I'm going to add my whipped topping. And that's going to just sweeten that up a little bit more and make it kind of smooth and yummy. All right. Looking good. Let's put this together. Thank you, Deb. Does Sean like cheesecake?
No, he does
No?
not.
Does Jay, your son?
Jay does.
All right. Okay, so in this goes on top of our cooled, and that's really important to make sure that crust is nice and cool. This is a make-ahead. This cheesecake's going to need to set up in your refrigerator for at least a couple hours. Better yet, if you could do it overnight. So just spread that over the top. Doesn't that look good? I can see what a nice big batch this makes. And then get it in the refrigerator. Cover it loosely with plastic wrap, and it'll set up for you in the fridge. We've got one. Deb's got one already in here waiting for us. And this is when you can have fun. Now, it's going to be great as is. Cut it into squares. But, you know, I love to put a little fruit on top. When the strawberries are fresh and wonderful, oh, man, you know, slice up some strawberries and toss them with some sugar, and that's a great topping. But, you know, if the strawberries aren't in season, just it's as easy as opening up some canned pie filling and just spreading it on the top. I'm doing the classic, which is cherry, because that's one of my favorites, but, you know, blueberry, whatever. Just a can of that pie filling, or even two, right on the top. And there you go. It's my no-bake cheesecake recipe for a crowd. Recipes on our website. You can also pick it up at any Festival Foods. I think we need another can of pie filling here. We'll work on that.